Hey, are you a woman 40 plus? Your period is maybe still happening, and you're still wondering, am I maybe in perimenopause or not? So, number one, yes, it is completely possible to still have a period regularly or not so regularly and already be in perimenopause. Changes are happening slowly. And today I want to talk about three very obvious changes that perimenopause is happening and things are shifting. Number one, sleep. So, one of the first things that goes wonky is sleep. Do you have issues sleeping through the night? Do you have issues going to sleep? Sometimes it's obvious things like heat that keep you awake, but it can also be very random and not feel explainable. And that is because progesterone is the first hormone to go down. Commonly, it's thought that estrogen is going down in menopause, but actually, in the beginning, when things start shifting, first progesterone goes down and estrogen lowers later. And progesterone going down is happening because you're not ovulating regularly anymore. So, ovulation usually releases progesterone. And if that's not happening, progesterone's not coming, and therefore your progesterone levels are lower. That can also result in a relative estrogen dominance. So, estrogen might not be super high, but it's higher than usual as opposed to or compared to the normal progesterone levels, and that can lead to a bunch of really crappy symptoms and doesn't feel good as well. But let's go back to sleep. Are you not sleeping well? Are you tossing and turning or waking up in the middle of the night and can't go back to sleep? It could be perimenopause. The second sign I want to talk about today is cycle changes. And that doesn't mean that your cycle stops completely, but as I said before, in the beginning, your cycles simply change a little bit or can change slightly. Like instead of 28 days, you can shift to 26 or something like that. Or it can be a few days longer or massively longer. It can be pretty inconsistent. For some women, it's a few days. Maybe the intensity of your bleed changes. Maybe you bleed more or less. Also connected to your hormones and to what's happening with estrogen and progesterone. Also, sometimes you can simply skip a few months and then it comes back. That's more obvious, right? Then you probably start thinking in that direction. But the few days of shifting or the intensity or a little more cramping, that's something that is really pointing towards things shifting, but often it's not something we are that aware of. Number three is mood swings. Mood swings, yes, we've heard of that, but sometimes or often we actually overlook it and we don't really notice it that much. But if you start to not really recognize yourself and you start to yell at people more often than usual, or you start just being a bit more impatient and your mood goes up and down a lot more, that is also or can be connected to the hormonal shifting and can be something that points in the direction of, hey, you actually are in perimenopause and things are changing. We do have a certain number of eggs, and when those go down and are getting towards the lower end, then things really start shifting. And sometimes we ovulate, sometimes we don't. And then there are cycles where maybe two eggs get released and things go completely crazy. That's the stage of perimenopause. That's the time before menopause happens. Menopause is the point in time when your bleed has stopped for 12 months consecutively, and then everything after is postmenopause. But perimenopause can be chaotic. And yes, we talked about three signs. We talked about, what did we talk about? Sleep. We talked about cycle, length, and consistency, and intensity, and then also mood swings. And then there can be many, many other signs and really random signs. But that's for a different video. If you like this video, please hit like and follow. Follow for more and check out my website, optimumu.com. And I'm happy and here to support you.